Hello everybody, Tony Knight, dog listener here, and audio is part one of two, where I'm going to be answering some questions that we didn't have time for when Jan Fennell and I did a talk in Holland last week. Lots of questions, a lot of discussion, and I think we were on stage for about 4 hours, just flew by. So here are some questions that we've had, or comments that I'm going to attempt to answer, and let me go through them now. First question comment says, I don't agree with your point on castration. All male animals become calmer and easy to handle after castration. Think of horses, ponies, sheep and rabbits. All our dogs are neutered, we have a pack of 15, and we notice more positive and calm behaviour. Now this person, I don't want to stereotype here, but a kind of stereotyping has been said here with all male animals become calmer and easier. I'm imagining this is a woman. Because speaking as a guy, do you know what? Leave them the hell alone. Leave that stuff alone. It's meant to be there for a reason. And in the wild, in nature, there's no such thing as castration. And yet animals will form, we're talking about wolves and dogs and human beings, they will form a hierarchy based on who's at the top and who's at the bottom and who has the responsibility. Now, if what this person is doing is implementing dog listening, therefore showing all of her dogs that I'm the one in charge, I'm the one that makes the decisions, you can trust me. Whether the dogs are neutered or not, they're going to respond positively. Of course there are times when, say, females come into season, that the males are going to get excited, but you must have seen that there are males who are still neutered, who will still react in that way when a female comes into season. Thinking that castration is the solution is misguided, because you will find maybe this person's got luck on her side. Some people say I've had dogs for 20 years, never had a problem until now, because they don't know what the problems are, they're not noticing them. So when you just think of horses, ponies, sheep and rabbits, again, in nature there's no such thing as castration, and yet it doesn't all mean aggressive behaviour. This is the thing, when I've met female dogs with aggressive behaviour, what are we going to cut off them? There's no answer. So the point about castration is, if you have a castrated dog already, because maybe it's come from a rescue centre, and that's a policy of theirs to avoid unwanted pups, or your dog is castrated because to avoid a medical problem, then okay, we understand that. We're not going to have a go at you for that. We're not going to, say it's too late, you shouldn't have done that. The point is, when you have a dog in your pack, are you showing that dog that you are the decision maker and not it? If a dog believes it's the decision maker, then according to its personality, it may demonstrate some aggression. But you can have dogs that are like that when they're neutered as well. And if you've still got the same important job and you're feeling less than 100%, because basically when you castrate an animal, its hormones drop dramatically, we have found that in 80% of cases, the behaviour gets worse and not better. Now, if this person is saying that all male animals become calmer and easier to handle after castration, then this is a very lucky person that's got in the minority. But don't close your mind off to the possibility that castration may not be what happens in the wild. Okay, question 2. I have seen footage of wolves and wild dogs going into new territory and the alpha is leading. They are in a long line. Does this prove your theory that the alpha lets others take over at times? Wrong. No, it doesn't. Now, what you've seen probably is them going on border patrol. Now, or into new territory, the alpha of course will lead, because it's the decision maker. This is a point we make. The decision maker makes the decisions, and if you're going into new territory or on border patrol, then the alpha goes first. When it comes to the hunt, the alpha male will start the hunt. They will get up and start to stretch, the others know something's going on, and then the alpha makes the decision to go off on the hunt. But while on the hunt, this is all part of the training of the younger wolves so they can become useful members of the pack. The alpha will not always be at their head. They will pass the baton of chasing, of rounding up, of herding from one to the other. But the alpha is directing the whole thing, directing the whole process. You see, where this idea that the alpha must go in front all the time lets us down is because human beings will think, therefore, the dog cannot go 1 centimetre in front of my leg. And they're constantly telling the dog to go back, get back, get back. But that doesn't happen in nature, in the wild. The alpha male does not go back 5 centimetres. Oi, you. because as long as the rest of them are following the alpha's lead, and the alpha can go in a direction, say to the right, and you've got another wolf in front of it, we'll check to see where the alpha's gone, see it's gone to the right, and then itself will go in the right because it knows the alpha has made the right decision to go in that direction because it knows when the prey can be pursued and how the prey can be pursued. Okay, I hope that's cleared that up. Don't be black and white about it. Number 3, I'll be going on vacation for the first time in 20 years, well, have a good time, and the dogs can't come. I have found a good kennel, but how will the dogs experience this? Now, this depends on the kennel. The fact is, there are kennels that look fantastic that do the dog listening process, and the dogs are relaxed while they're there. There are other kennels where they want the dogs to feel comfortable, but they humanise it a bit, and so they make a lot of fuss of the dogs. The important thing here is what you do when you come back, because your dogs, when they're reunited with you, and I've just had this, because of the volcano in Iceland, I couldn't fly back to France. My dogs have been away from me for nearly 3 weeks. Now, I met up with them yesterday because I flew back yesterday, and the first thing I did was I paid no attention to them. Now, that's difficult to do, and it was difficult for me to do, but I know that after a separation, my dogs are going to go, okay, where do we fit in now you're back? Are you still in charge? So I ignored them until they left me alone, and then I could call them to me and give them a fuss. If you're going to pick them up from a kennel, what I suggest you do is you hold back all that emotion and affection that you're going to give them, and I'm not saying don't give them, but hold it back. Pick up the dogs as if you're picking up some luggage, okay? Talk to the people, who have been looking after your dogs. Get the dogs into the car as calmly, with as little said as possible. Get home, get the dogs out, and then when you feel that they've left you alone and the situation is calm, call them to you and give them the biggest fuss you have ever given them. I challenge you to fuss the heck out of them. As long as you do it the right way, the dogs are going to think, right, now we're back, fine, that's terrific. Now, the only way that a dog could have a problem with this is if the dog believes that it is the decision maker, it's the one there to protect its pack, and the pack goes somewhere and leaves it behind, and that's separation anxiety, which actually I've just been doing a report on, and we've got an e-book coming out, so people can find out about what to do with separation anxiety. But don't worry too much about it. It's what you do when you come back that's the main thing. Okay, question 4. How do you feel about saying that dogs are domesticated and do not think in packs anymore? Very quickly, while I was in Holland, there was a cup match football between Ajax and Feyenoord, and I know neither of those supporters like each other because they're rivals. Don't tell me that human beings don't think in packs. Dogs are 0.02% different from wolves. We are much more different, and yet we have the same instincts in our brain. So I don't agree that dogs do not think in packs. I've seen the evidence, and I've seen it in human beings as well. Don't say Chelsea to my mum, and don't say Milton Keynes to me, because we're tribal, territorial as well. Okay, question 5. This person's got 5 dogs. 3 of them are adult English Springers, and the middle one fights the other 2 and gets isolation as a result. This person says, I wish to reunite the pack to let them know I'm the alpha. I tried the method to 3 to 4 weeks, and only the middle one listened. Okay, interesting that the middle one listened to this person, and yet it's the middle one that's fighting the other 2. So I'm not sure whether that means that the middle one has stopped fighting with the other 2. Trying the method 3 to 4 weeks is early days. Keep going, and but to answer the question directly, I wish to reunite the pack and let them know I'm the alpha. Every time you reunite with the pack, do the golden 5 minutes. Pay no attention to them until they leave you alone. Because once they've done that, you know they've respected your personal space. Then you can call them to you, and I suggest you call them one at a time. And the rules are very simple. If you call one dog and it comes to you, then that dog gets a treat or a fuss or a general positive experience. If you call one dog and all 3 of you come to you, you just ignore the other 2. Block them off if necessary, but do not talk to them or look at them. And then when that's finished and all 3 have left you alone, do number 2 and do it with number 3. But the same rules apply. What you're showing the dogs is you can come to me when I say, and that's how to show you're the alpha when you reunite.